Brian, what do we have for public input tonight? Okay. For the record, all board members are present. Approval of the October 21st, 2019 minutes, please.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Abstain.
Bill payment of November 4th, 2019, voucher number 20191371 through number 201-92072 with a total amount of $125,988.48. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Bills are paid. Department heads, Paul Siegman.
Yeah, just a couple quick things. We had that windstorm there last week. We did lose quite a few trees. Fortunately, there was a pretty busy tree cutting going on in the town with Niagara Mohawk and with a crew that we hired. So there wasn't a lot on the roads. We had one tree on the road. That was it. I will say you don't need to call my shop and let me know that you got leaves or brush out. We cover the whole town. We took, I think, something like 65 phone calls today to let us know that they had brush and leaves out. We have 2 leaf machines. One goes on one side, one goes on the other. They start in one spot and they just work their way out until they get everything covered. Same thing goes with the brush. I got one chipper out. Every guy I have is either sucking leaves or picking up brush. So they are out. They will get to it. You just have to be patient. I know everybody wants theirs done yesterday because it's going to be windy out. Well, we can only move so fast. Just be patient and they will eventually get there. If you do have leaves, don't wait until, put it off till like the end of December and say you're going to do it. You got them in your yard, get them put out to the road. Because if we start getting a foot of snow, we can't suck leaves. Speaking of snow, they were talking about Thursday of there being some snow, and I just want to give everybody a reminder about the parking. There is parking restrictions in town of Wheatfield. It runs from November 15th to April 1st. From 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. there's no parking on the roads. If you have an unusual circumstance, which we've had in the past, somebody died and a lot of people came in from out of town and they were staying at somebody's house. Well, everybody got ticketed. Well, I felt like a jerk when I went up and they called me and I went and talked to the people. I said, if you'd have just made a phone call and let me know what was going on, we would have made an exception for it because that is an unusual circumstance. So if there is an issue that arises like that, you call my department and I'll try to help you out and make it right with you. The other thing is, besides the no parking, the snow from your driveway is supposed to stay in your yard. Not get pushed across the street, not get put in your neighbor's yard, not get put in the center of the circle. They fill the circle up, my trucks can't make it around. And then half the time they don't push it far enough anyways, gets hard, my trucks hit it, they bounce out, they take your mailbox out. That's the way it happens. So please, tell your contractors, because ultimately you can tell me your contractor did it, you're the homeowner, you're responsible for it. So when they plow snow, it's supposed to go up into your yard. We will be out putting up our little markers on some spots where we do have issues hitting stuff, so you will see guys out putting the orange markers up. Please do not take the markers out. Leave them there. That's about all I have unless you guys have any questions.
No, except that I thought I had heads up when my leaves went to my neighbors, but then the neighbors on the other side, I got theirs, so it was all about the same.
Well, yeah, the wind helped us out in some cases, and some people probably got leaves that never had leaves before. So
That's true.
I had
Okay.
one thing.
Let me make one comment about the phone calls. The constables are the ones issuing the tickets. I would hope that you guys coordinate if there is someone that has a death in the family or something like that, so that we're just not giving tickets.
Yes, we have in,
Yeah.
we have in the past. I mean, I've had a gentleman whose car broke down. Called me and told me it was broke down. They couldn't get it picked up till the next day. We made sure we called somebody, let them know that it was a broken down car.
Thanks, Bob.
Just a curiosity question. I've seen these white X's on some of the streets. I know I've talked to Paul already, but I'm just saying it publicly here in case somebody knows the meaning of it. Sunset Drive, there's a pretty good size, like 3 foot by 3 foot white X with a number. I've seen them on Whitmer Road. I've seen them on the LaSalle Expressway. One of the numbers is like 323, which I was checking with our engineers. Our flood elevation's in the 500 feet. So I have no idea what these white X's, and they're not all in the town of Wheatfield. There's some in Niagara Falls. I see some in North Tonawanda and Whitmer, but I just don't know. But
My guess is it's probably some type of aerial survey, whether it's Army Corps or somebody, but my guess it could be some type of aerial survey. If it's that big, it's something they want to see from the air.
They've been there a little over a week, maybe less than 2 weeks. Just about a week they've been there.
Yeah, nobody's called my office and said anything about it, but my guess is it would probably be some type of aerial survey.
And I'm guessing it's on more streets than I've seen. I don't pay that close attention. And
A lot of times they'll put markers on streets so they can identify them from the air or their line area imagery, the line area.
mhm.
Not sure why they would do that. Most of it's supposed to be doing around the aerial photography, but maybe just trying to get them down. Never forget.
Yeah, Paul's equipment will scrape them all off in the winter.
They probably wouldn't have much left by the time spring comes around. Maybe not. Maybe it'll be an easy winter. Let's hope.
All right, Paul, thank you. Richie Donner.
Good
Hi.
evening.
Hi,
Couple
Rick.
things, we did get approved for our camera trailer from the county, so, we'll be picking that up shortly, and, it's gonna be our winter project for some of the guys to get everything built into it and, put our whole camera system, so it, most of the computer stuff will be able to stay out of the weather. We'll be able to operate it in any inclement weather conditions we get. And on Paul's note with snow, just a reminder, it's illegal to plow snow around a fire hydrant. You can get ticketed for it. Our constables are out, and they will be looking for it. And also, please help the firemen by shoveling out around the fire hydrants. We do appreciate that. That's all I have.
Anybody have anything for Rich? Thank you, Richie. Mike Rinaldi, Recreation Director. Okay, Mike, if you don't mind just standing, so everybody can recognize Mike. But if anybody went to the Halloween party, I don't see a lot of or young ones here, but I want to say you did a great job, and I was very impressed. The kids loved it. It was just, your whole department deserves hats off. You did a great job. I was really pleased. Very nice job, Mike. Mike Clark, Building Inspector.
I was gonna say no report, but it's the first of the month. So in your mail, and also what I've given you guys on the way out was the recap from last month. Includes our complaints, our permitting, court records, things of that nature. I don't know if there's any questions on what you've seen so far that I gave in the mail today, or nothing specific. And
No?
and one other thing too, that I know that a couple of councilmen weren't here for the last meeting, but there was a request that my department and the assessor's office had put in that was given to you guys last time around, was requesting the hours of the constables to be extended, and I hope you guys would take that in consideration.
Yeah, if I may comment on that, I think we have to do something. We can't be selective about protecting our employees. And I think that the town board agrees, and I did meet with Roger Thompson. I don't know if he's here somewhere, but he is going to cut or rearrange his budget and cut out some road patrols to, without any increase in the budget, to compensate for hours at the town hall. We haven't done the final workup on it yet, and I still have to meet with the board members. But again, I know you've had some incidents downstairs, and there's no reason why you shouldn't have the same protection that everybody else gets. So I think you'll find that in a short period of time we'll have people here all day long.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
Greatly appreciated.
Any comments, Jeff? Thanks, Mike. Of course, our assessor has not started yet. Constables.
Yeah, just a few numbers for October. We did take 22 calls per service. 5 of them were assisting the local fire companies with some EMS calls. Did an animal complaint call, issued 9 tickets. And then there was 4 community events that we participated in. One was a walk to end Alzheimer's. Had some constables participate in that. We also had an event at Eric Road School, and then we went over to St. Peter's Church. And then on Halloween, we had a couple cars out on patrol and handed out some candy too while they're doing that. So that's all I got.
All right, thank you, Brian. Arlene Manty. great.
Oh, yeah, Gil and Randy were there helping, St. John. Candy, I forgot about you. You were very generous with the it was very good, very good.
And you know I was hunting, so.
Yeah, the ladies all asked for it.
Okay.
Some of the cans, but
Oh, next time. Maybe you could make your dance before or after hunting season, would that work?
otherwise everything's fine.
All right, thank you, Arlene. Tim Zuber, Wendell Engineers. All right, thank you, Tim. Motions per Matt Brooks.
Okay, first motion is, a motion regarding our public hearing, for the, Community Development Block Grant. Goes as follows: whereas Barge Brewing Company LLC, the company, plans to renovate an existing bar, restaurant, and warehouse located at 2469 Niagara Road in the town of Wheatfield, and to acquire machinery, equipment, furnishings, and fixtures to create a craft brewery, brew pub, and event space, the project. And whereas the company has requested that the town apply for funding on its behalf from the New York State Office of Community Renewal to finance a portion of the cost of machinery, equipment, furnishings, and fixtures, inventory, and working capital expenses to support the project. And whereas the Wheatfield Local Development Corporation is assisting in the facilitation of the project and has requested that the town provide the OCR funding to the WLDC as a grant for the purpose of making a deferred loan and a term loan to the company. And whereas the project will result in a substantial benefit to the town of Wheatfield in the form of an estimated 21 new full-time equivalent employment positions. And whereas the town has held a public hearing tonight on November 4th, 2019 to obtain citizens' views regarding the CDBG program as administered by the OCR and the project. And whereas the activities associated with the project are subject to the State Environmental Quality Review Act, and the town has determined that such activities constitute a Type 2 action as listed under seeker. Now therefore be it resolved that the town supervisor is hereby authorized to submit a grant application on behalf of the town of Wheatfield in the approximate amount of $266,000 to the OCR for the support of the project, and be it further resolved that the town supervisor is hereby authorized to execute a grant agreement between the town and the OCR and all related documents associated with the OCR grant, including entering into a grant agreement with the WLDC for the implementation of the project and administration of the OCR grant, and all such documents to be subject to review and approved by the town attorney. And be it further resolved that the town supervisor is hereby designated as the certifying officer responsible for all activities associated with the federal environmental review process to be completed in conjunction with the project. And that's the end of the motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion. Whereas the town of Wheatfield has established an emergency services department and appointed Michael Zarbo as Director of Emergency Services, and whereas the Emergency Services Department and Director of Emergency Services had been charged with preparing a comprehensive emergency preparedness plan, and whereas said comprehensive emergency preparedness plan has been prepared and submitted to the town of Wheatfield town officials, employees for review, and whereas sufficient time has passed that such any comments and suggestions regarding said plan have had sufficient time for consideration, causing any modification or inclusion in the plan, and whereas said plan is now appropriate for the adoption by the town of Wheatfield to benefit the health, safety, and welfare of the town, its residents, and visitors, now therefore be it resolved that the town of Wheatfield Comprehensive Emergency Preparedness Plan, as currently presented to the town board of the town of Wheatfield, is hereby approved and adopted as the current Comprehensive Emergency Preparedness Plan for the town of Wheatfield, subject to any future amendment, and shall be promulgated by the town as adopted.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion, to allow the town assessor to re-levy the unpaid water, sewer, town charges totaling $109,988.92 on the 2019-2020 tax roll in order to collect said charges through property tax collections.
So moved.
Second. A motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion, to approve the firearm discharge permits for the individuals on the attached list from the Firearm Permit Review Board.
Motion? I'll make the motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion from the Budget Director, to approve amendment to the 2019 Highway Fund budget to provide the estimated revenue and budget appropriation for the grant from the New York State Department of Transportation Bridge New York Program grant to provide the funds to pay for the rehabilitation of the Community Drive Extension bid based upon a bid award of $164,560.
So moved.
Second. On the question,
Yep.
is this 100% funded, or is it different percentage?
90% what you said? It was 95% of, 145 of this.
Sure. Do we have a second? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And there was supplemental motions, motion to allow and authorize the Town of Wheatfield Veterans Memorial Group to enter into an agreement with LTR Erectors, subject to town approval, for the transport and storage of the Wheatfield Town Monument Army helicopter by LTR Erectors, care of William Darren, 340 Robinson Street, North Tonawanda, New York, at no cost to the town until said helicopter is finally transported and installed by LTR Erectors at the permanent location of the Town of Wheatfield Veterans Memorial.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And just a brief explanation to this motion. The Town of Wheatfield veterans have been working on the helicopter all winter. And it's finally painted. If anybody wants to see something really well done, our veterans have not only illuminated it, they've repainted it, they're putting the red crosses on the side. And rather than having it sitting outside until next spring when the helicopter will be located at the back of the facility here, or the town hall here, it's going to be put in interior storage. And my hat's off to all of the veterans that were. And Tom, if you want to speak in brief about the helicopter tonight, or would you rather save it for another time?
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, and I know it's in the, let's finish the motions and then I'll call you up during mine, but they did a tremendous job. And I remember looking at that helicopter when you guys first put it in the highway garage, and I thought, no way. And they have done a tremendous job. And if you ever around on a Saturday morning, take a ride over to the highway department before they move it. It's absolutely beautiful. Did a great job, guys. Go ahead, Matt.
You passed, did you vote on that motion?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And the final motion we have is whereas a 2020 preliminary budget was prepared and reviewed by the town board, and whereas during said review, the 2020 preliminary budget was modified as necessary, and whereas a public hearing on the 2020 preliminary budget was properly noticed and held tonight, November 4th, 2019, by the town board, and said public hearing was closed. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Town of Wheatfield's 2020 preliminary budget, as modified, is hereby adopted as the Town of Wheatfield's 2020 budget.
So moved. A motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And there are no further motions.
Okay. Board members, Larry Helwig.
Earlier this year, the town switched over our phone system, which was all the handsets that people talk on. But any of the modem lines or security lines, we have a company called CenturyLink that the town pays for those lines. By next June, we have to switch the equipment that they're on. Apparently it's obsolete. So I see some smiles on some of your faces. This should be hopefully not real painful, but I'm going to be coming around. I got a list of about maybe 18 phones. Every department has either a security or a fax or something. We just have to identify what closet they're going into so that they can come up with, and I don't have a list of what they're doing yet. We've got like 3 or 4 or 5 months to work this out, but I'm just giving you a warning now that they've given us a warning, mainly Debbie Carr, that we gotta switch this over or we won't have that equipment anymore. So I'll be working with you as we, figure out what this company's gotta do, or maybe the next new company that can do it better. Okay? Okay. Paul? No. This is just, your fax lines, any security modems? Yeah. But I'll keep you posted as we move forward. Right now, I just know that we have to move it off of what it's on. I don't know what platform we're moving it over to. And it may not even be with CenturyLink. We'll probably bid it out and see if we can get a better price. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Larry. Gil Doucette?
I don't have anything tonight.
Oh, thank you, Gil. Kurt?
Yeah, recently the town made a decision to convert our streetlights to LEDs. So we're in the process right now of going around town and assigning the correct wattages, in preparation for that conversion. So if anybody notices a light that maybe they feel is too bright, or maybe not bright enough, or maybe there's not a street light needed here, or maybe there is a street light needed in a location, I'd appreciate it if you let me know, because it would be a good opportunity to add, modify, adjust as part of this. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Kurt. Randy Retzloff?
I have nothing, Don.
Okay. And one of the things I want to discuss tonight, again, talking about the helicopter, and Tom, if you want to just give us a brief as to the status of the helicopter and what you've done. They were hoping to get the concrete poured this week, but it may not happen now. So, you're on, Tom.
That is correct. And it has not been our contractor who is sloughing off on the job in any way. They've been upfront with us, and it's really been a weather issue. You know, we had a subsequent plan for getting it done this week, and it looks like there's rain every single day. So we're not going to give up on that. We're going to continue to push that. Concrete can be poured way into the year, even into December, with some additives to the concrete. So we're not going to give up on that. We're still trying to get that finished this year. But I do want to thank the board for passing this motion on our ability to move the move the helicopter. With that, I want to thank Paul for almost a year, just short, of using one of his very, very valuable spaces in the town garage. This will give us the opportunity to move it out, put it into a 100,000 square foot garage, which will be secure and free from damage. And that was our biggest concern. That's something that Don, you and I have talked about, Paul and I have talked about, is the damage factor. The helicopter itself is near completion. We're doing a little bit of paint detail work on it right now, but that is probably within 2 weeks of being finished. The helicopter at that point can be moved out. Other than that, all the parts have been procured. Everything is in place that we needed. We have been very thankful for the community. We've had a professional painter come in and take care of it. We've had a professional gentleman as far as the wiring goes on the helicopter. Fiddler Roofing provided the entire top on the helicopter, which will secure it from any migration of water into the helicopter for what John claims to be the next 25 years. So we have really had a lot of help on this. Very, very good professional help. With that, we're just short of a year, and we're almost done. I also have the plans for the mount, which I will leave here on the table. If anybody wants to look at it after the meeting, I will stay right here and explain what we're looking at for the springtime.
It's actually a landing mount, the way
Yes.
it's designed. And
Yes.
It's really nice, and the fact they're making a medevac out of this, and the way it's coming in, we have a crew chief sitting here with a tail down, coming in for a landing. It's gonna be quite impressive behind the
Yes.
town hall.
And it will be lit, so that at night you will be able to see the helicopter from the
And
pad.
that's all LED lighting, I believe.
Yes,
too.
it is.
Yeah, it's really a thing of beauty. It really is.
So as we wrap up, I'll put this on the table. If anybody would like to talk about it, please come and talk to me about it. Also, we generally work on Saturdays. It won't be there very long, so if you got a Saturday, this one or the following one, come on down, take a look. 9 o'clock in the morning, we're there.
And the other thing too, and I know we received some donation, but if anybody wishes to donate to the Veterans Memorial, would be greatly appreciated. Right now, we've gotten some funding.
Yep.
But it's a costly project, and next year we're hoping to continue with the tank and hopefully get the monument itself,
Yeah.
moving right along, so.
Right. And again, thank you for permission to move the helicopter. That was a worry for us,
Yeah.
having it damaged after all the work has gone into it.
Whatever it takes,
Thank you.
Thank you. And to all the guys, your whole group, the job you've done, done a tremendous job. That's all I have. Our next meeting is November 18th, 2019 at 7 o'clock. And is there any public input on that? There's a public hearing on that. Oh, that's right, yeah, that's right, for, the rezoning? Okay, I'm sorry, there's a public hearing at 6:45, rezoning of a piece of property at Niagara Falls Boulevard. Any public input as to anything we've discussed tonight? Sorry? Oh, Dave. Oh, I didn't see you come in, Dave. I'm sorry. My goodness. Dave Godfrey, our Niagara County Legislature, and also a veteran. Good evening, Dave.
Thank you for that. I'd like to share a couple of updates with you tonight. First one has to do with our air base. We've been working for many years to protect this air base from any BRAC. Part of that is to make sure that nothing encroaches on our base. And part of that encroachment is the flyways into the landings and so on and so forth. It's very important with the land around that air base to make sure that nothing happens in those areas construction-wise is going to cause encroachment, which is high on the list for a BRAC. If you have encroachment possibilities, they could close the base. Just recently, we had an update from Carl Calabrese, who has been one of our consultants working to help save this base and putting together a program, and his report has to do with compatibility use plan. And this is what he says. I'm pleased to report that 4 of the 6 municipalities, Lewiston, Wheatfield right here, Niagara Falls, and Pendleton, near the air base, have passed a resolution to pursue the study, compatible use plan, the study plan, through the federal government. He's working with the towns of Niagara and Cambridge to get those passed, and what this means is we will have the funding through the federal government to do a very technical study, working with the military to make sure a compatible use plan is put in place with all of the towns to protect our air base. So we're moving forward on that. The importance of that is, as you all know, it's our largest employer in the county. If you have loss in this county, all of that tax base would be gone. In regards to tax base, the next update I have, on the 23rd, a couple weeks ago, of October, the governor was here at Fort Niagara to announce the READY Commission findings and projects. Resiliency Economic Development Initiative on our shoreline. The initiatives in Niagara County of $133 million, 63 projects across the 5 counties. Niagara County got $49 million for the projects here, of which there are 6 major projects from Lewiston to Wilson to Alcott Harbors, and also the regional dredging plan, $15 additional million to make sure all of the 19 harbors on the south shore of this lake are dredged routinely to make sure they stay open for business. So what does that mean to everybody up here? It means that those harbors that bring people from all over the world to our lake board depends on the sales tax revenue generated by this type of initiative, the tourism and the fisheries. So it's very important to make sure that that shoreline is fortified. We know we will be flooded again next year. All predictions say it's gonna be higher. So the resiliency and fortifying our lake shores, but more importantly, to keep our harbors and our marinas and our businesses open is what the governor had put forth. Just today, Chairman McNall received a letter that those awards will be handed out on November the 20th at the governor's mansion. I will be sure to be there because we have worked hard to make sure that Niagara County gets their fair share. And we did. We got $49 million. So, thanks to the governor, a good job done, but it all has to do with everybody in this room with the sales tax revenue between our base and our jewels down there on our shoreline to keep them going. Anybody's got any questions on that afterwards? I'm glad to answer that after the meeting. Town board has anything for me?
All set, David, thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn. Don't forget, tomorrow is election day. Don't forget to exercise your vote, your right to vote. And right after the meeting, Rita, we're gonna sit with you for a few minutes to discuss, Niagara Falls Boulevard. So I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying